this ridiculous?
What are you doing?
I have my door. I have my door barricaded
Why?
because Perez and I found some very unsettling information about our Airbnb, and I feel more comfortable sleeping at night with the door barricaded.
But that's your mattress. What are you sleeping on?
Oh, this room had two beds, so I took one of the beds, and I barricaded the door with one of the beds, and I pushed my bed in front of that so the guy couldn't like fucking knock the door down because the mattresses don't weigh that much. And then I have a separate exit out my bathroom, but that one's got a lock on it. See, this door doesn't have a lock on it, so I just feel better. There's a two-way mirror situation going on. There's parts of the house that are locked with bedrooms and exits. It's uncomfortable. So this is where I'm at, and I look like I'm in I look like I'm in like a fucking.
You actually think there's someone in the house while we're staying here?
I do. I think there's someone who could be coming and going who has the locks, and it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Forgot my vape, but okay.
You've watched one too many horror movies, my friend.
I do. I watch a lot of them, and it's it scares the shit out of me. All right, welcome back to another edition of the Sportsmen. We're late this week. It's also just me and Joey D again. It's old school. We're throwing it back. But this is the way it is with life on the road with Bob Does Sports. Mikey V's on the East Coast. It's fucking 1:30 in the morning for him. We get it. We love him. We miss him. He'll be back at some point, hopefully next week. We think next week. But again, it's just me and Joey D today. But we got sports to talk about. But first of all, Joey D, how are you doing? What's been going on?
I'm good. We're in the homeland here in the Great White North. The boys are up here in Canada showing you guys around. Whistler, I got something in the old. I think I got something lodged in the old throat here. Tough start for the kid. Whistler tomorrow. Super excited. Take you boys up there for 3-4 days, show you guys the ropes, get some golf in. It's going to be beautiful, Tick. It's going to be really, really special. So things are good, but like you said, with the traveling and the flights and the moving around, it just makes it tough, for the podcast, and we're sorry that we weren't able to get it out for the, for Wednesday release as normal, but hey, we are turning a new leaf. We said this before. In the past, we would have just not even thought about it. It would have been a canceled job to no avail. But you know what? We're putting in the work. We're going to get one out. Mr. Anderson's ready. He's pushing us. We're pushing each other. We got an episode coming out Friday. And to be honest, there's some things I'm excited to talk about. So let's dive right into it. No, Tick?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And let's start with where we just were. We were just in Tahoe. We were just there for the ACC Pro-Am, probably the biggest celebrity Pro-Am of the year. And we were there. We got to see a lot of these guys, but we only stayed for the first round and the practice round. But Steph Curry went on to win this thing on the last hole. Pretty fucking awesome to watch, to be honest. I mean, it was a pretty cool. We were there. It was a very exciting event. We were there on the first day. It's not as intense. I mean, it's a little bit, but it's not as intense as I'm sure Sunday becomes. But Steph Curry pulling it off. Did you watch any of it after we left? What'd you think?
I watched a bit of it at the end. I actually didn't see much, but I mean, this guy is just, there's some guys who are just cut from a different cloth. The fact that he needed to hit an eagle on the last hole to win this tournament just is, and he went out and did it, is pretty damn special. There's a few guys that we saw during this tournament who are just like, man, this guy's got some swag. He's one of them. Mahomes is another, and then Josh Allen's another. These guys they could do it all. They're walking by the 17th hole, going to the 18th hole. They had that Travis Matthews set up, the 3-point shot with the basketball hoop. These guys just draining shots, signing autographs, kissing babies, doing the whole 9 yards. And you know what? I said to Bob earlier yesterday, we were talking about it. The fact that Steph Curry won is such good press and publicity for this ACC championship. I would argue that they got more out of this tournament. Guy hits a hole-in-one 2 days prior.
Yeah.
Goes on to eagle the last hole and win the championship. I mean, you want to talk about good press and publicity for the ACC championship in Tahoe? They got more out of it from Steph Curry alone this time than they probably have had in the last 5 years. And I think it's awesome for the tournament. It's awesome for him. It's awesome for the game of golf to see that guys from other sports are really diving and delving themselves into it. And he's a hell of a fucking golfer. So, maybe Bob to Sports needs to, channel little Steph Curry on the channel. But I thought it was awesome. I thought he's a stand-up guy. You could see it meant a lot to him. He really wanted to win. All around, just a hell of a tournament. And I'm happy you guys got to come down, because I was there last year caddying for it. And I saw the busy days. I saw the days on the weekend where it gets turned up and people are going nuts. And it's just such a great vibe, man. It's so fun, electric. I'm curious to know what you thought about it, but overall, I think it's just a big win for golf, for the ACC championship, and for everyone watching.
Yeah, I mean, there's just gamers, man. Like Patrick Mahomes is another one. He's a very good golfer, but he didn't win, obviously. He reminds me so much of Steph Curry. Those two guys, they just find ways to win. I mean, when they're stacked against them, when they're down after the first half, they just find ways to win. And then they're also just fucking great at other sports. It's pretty unbelievable. But you guys, I had to go and work. I keep finding ways to miss Josh Allen. I keep finding ways to just miss him.
How have you not met him yet?
At this point, I think it's just got to become a bit. Like, I just got to never meet him. Anytime you guys are going to go hang out with him, I think I got to just like not show up. But you guys got to walk a few holes with Josh Allen. It was fucking awesome. And he's
I hate to say it, but it was
guy.
awesome.
I know it was. I saw the pictures. I saw everything. It was pretty heartbreaking, me sitting in my hotel room working on the video that came out today and missing it. But fucking walking with Josh, man. It was cool.
I mean, I did it last year for the, getting to caddy for him was so cool because he's such a great guy that everybody around him just like gravitates towards him. He's so humble, and he treats everyone around him like he has a way of making you feel like you're as important as anyone else. And he did that with me last year. He was introducing me people. He was like, "This is my boy Cutsy," and
That's
so
awesome.
nice. And same thing this year. Like Jet told me, he's like, after we hung out with him, he's like, when you're around him, he makes you feel like you're just on top of the world. And he's just a great dude, super humble. It's not about him. It's about everyone else around him. I wish he would have been there. We were just there. He came up to the hole that we were on, the Corona sponsored hole on 7. Came up, dabbed all of us up, and then after he shot, he's like, "You guys gonna walk with us? We got a few holes left to play." And we were like, "Damn, we got to do that." So
Of course,
it was cool, man. It was super cool. We got to run it back with him. He kept talking about how he has to run it back. We obviously had a match with him on Bob to Sports with Kyle Allen and Sam Darnold, which if you haven't watched, I strongly suggest you go take a look at that, because that was a lot of fun. But yeah, we got to run it back. He's a 1-of-1, and I actually think we should make a play at some point to either go down to Buffalo, or I think they play in either Vegas or LA this year, and watch one of their games and support him, because I want him to fucking go all the way, man. He's just the best.
Yeah, when you guys played with him the first time, I had COVID. It was the only time I've ever missed Bob to Sports trip. I didn't miss the whole trip. It was just while we was in LA. It was like a pickup game almost kind of thing. And I had COVID. And this time I had to work. And next time I'll find another reason. I did get a sick ass FaceTime with him though. It's almost cooler. I have like this FaceTime, like how you can screen grab when you're FaceTime with someone. It's almost worth.
Oh, that's right. You got the FaceTime, right?
I got the FaceTime. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
So you talked to him, you've met him.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll never meet him in person though. That's a promise. That's an absolute promise.
You gotta change that.
While we're on golf, let's talk British Open. We wanted to come on here and give our predictions before it started, but it's Thursday now. We've seen the first round. We know how that all unfolded. We know who's playing well, but it was just Thursday. There's still Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Cutsy, based on what you've seen today, what you saw, who do you like moving forward?
I didn't watch too much of it today, to be honest. I mean, it's the time difference. It's kind of tricky. Like it plays late in the evening, it basically early in the morning until late, But I do have to say there's a couple guys who I would keep my eye on. Obviously, Tommy Fleetwood's been looking really good, and he's right up there towards the top of the leaderboard. He's been trending upwards. I love what he's doing. And then I think you got to, Rory is definitely got to keep your eye on as well. I think he just won in the Scottish.
Yeah.
He just won in Scotland. He's coming off a win. He's, playing in front of a lot of hometown fans. I think that those two guys I would keep an eye on. Now I'm going to be rooting very, very hard for our guy Keegan Bradley, who after the first round sits, I think, tied for 10th. So rooting for him hard. I can't imagine something cooler than to see our guy win a major championship. It would be unbelievable. So, I don't know. I think it's still wide open. There's so many guys who could make a play. As you said, it's Thursday. It's one round down. Tomorrow's round is going to be really big, obviously, to see who makes a cut and, who will make some, splash in terms of like, I don't know. It's going to be fun. I hope that we get to watch a little bit in the next couple days so we can really root it on, because I know we're traveling a lot, but last major of the year, it's kind of crazy that the golf season's already coming to a close. And I don't know, man. What is there someone in particular that you like to come out on top of this thing, or who
Well,
are
I
you
had a
liking?
friend ask me the other day, our friend Teddy asked me, like, who do you like before it started? And I said, Minwoo Lee. I loved Minwoo Lee. I love Minwoo
Okay.
Lee in general. He's one of my favorite players. But I just thought he had a read on this thing. But there's another guy now who played very well today, Siwoo Kim. I'm all
Oh.
in Siwoo Kim. Siwoo Kim is my guy. He's my dog. I
Okay.
might even make a bet on him. But also another guy who's sort of up in contention is another guy of ours is Max Homa. I think Max Homa
Yeah.
is a man to keep your eye on. He's sort of faded into the background ever since the Genesis. He hasn't played that well. I mean, he's been
Yeah.
around, but he hasn't played that well. He
He
lit the world
started
on
out
fire for
on
about a year.
Gangbuster.
Yeah. But I think he could make a push here. I like him certainly for a top 10 finish. I don't know about winning, but keep your eye on him. But if you don't keep your eye on him, keep your eye on Siwoo Kim.
All right.
Siwoo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why what is it about him that you just like in this tournament? Is there something
Well, Jet
specifically?
is a massive fan of Siwoo Kim, and he put me on the Siwoo Kim tip. And now I've been all about him. I really like him and Minwoo. I like them both. I like the Woos. But I just think he's a really good, talented young golfer who doesn't seem to have a lot going on in his head. Not meaning that he's not smart. He just is like so young that he's not overthinking things. He doesn't have a lot of responsibilities. He doesn't have a huge life, a mansion, and wife, bills, all these things. He's golf focused. He just seems wildly focused and in tune to what's going on around him. And that's usually when golfers take over the world. It's when the money comes and all these other things come that's when they start falling apart, and only a few guys can sort of supersede that. But that being said, I also really like the Rory pick too. I mean, anytime the British Open comes around, Rory's going to be one of the favorites. He's just that's where he dominates. This is his Masters, Augusta. Like he's from Scotland, or no, he's from Ireland.
He's from
Those,
Northern Ireland.
those UK guys, the British Open is the major that they want to win.
Well, now there's some people who are giving us shit because I think Bob called it the British Open, and technically now it's actually just known as the Open.
The Open, right?
So I don't know if that's politically the way to go about it, but yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of pride in these overseas tournaments, man, and these guys playing in front of European based crowds that are rooting these guys on. It's kind of like when you have the Ryder Cup and it's in Europe, and you know what I mean, and you have these guys playing in front of their home fans. Like there's an edginess to them that they want their hometown boys doing well. So I think Rory is in a good position. He just won a tournament. He's got confidence. I think a big problem with him, is moving up through the last few tournaments was his putting was just he couldn't make a putt, but his ball
Yeah.
striking seemed to be as good as ever. And if he could start hitting putts, I think that coupled with the fact that he's grown up playing in these harsh conditions with wind and link style courses, big pot bunkers, like it tailors well to his game. So
Did
we'll
you
see,
see
man.
that clip of him get out of that pot bunker today?
Yeah.
How incredible was that shit?
It was next to the lip, man. I don't know. It would have taken me 10 times, 10 strokes just to get it even remotely close. I don't know how these guys
He
can do what
basically
they
hit
do.
it straight up in the air. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. It was one of
I
the
would
most
have been
impressive shots I've ever seen.
I might have been there for days. I'm not joking. I might have been in there for a while. I might have extracted all the sand out of that bunker before I got the ball out.
Well, while we're talking about bets, since we've gotten to Canada, Joey D has been on quite a fucking heater with baseball. And I jumped on board, and we're 3 for 3 together. You've been crushing on your own.
By the way, there was 2 Reds games you didn't jump on that
No,
hit.
I hopped on the one yesterday. I was on the one yesterday on the Reds game. See, Will Kim? Yes.
No, you were not.
What was I on yesterday?
Yesterday you hit the
Blue
Jay. We had
Blue Jays
Jays today. No, hold on. I'll tell you what you are. You didn't hit the Reds. You had the over Dodgers. Over in the Dodgers. Over in the Dodgers 9.5. Yeah. And it was over 9, and we hit that. But the Reds.
We had one at night. It was the Reds.
No, you didn't hit. You didn't tally the Reds.
Because I won 2 yesterday, and I won 1 today.
The other one you hit yesterday. We went 3 for 3. The Minnesota Twins over the Seattle Mariners.
That's
so there was
what it
two.
Was.
There was 2 Reds games that you didn't jump on. That hit.
I'm not a Reds guy. I refuse. Even if there's money to be made, I don't like betting on the Reds.
Now, if I took the Reds tomorrow, would you jump on it?
I mean, you are hot as a pistol. No, I won't. No, I won't. I just won't. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for these fucking mattresses, man. I'm gonna get blasted.
Yeah, you look ridiculous.
I look like I'm in a trap house. I look like I should. This is ridiculous. Unbelievable. All right. Anyway,
it's one of the worst backdrops I've ever seen on a podcast.
I've ever seen a fucking hoop stained fucking mattress behind me. It's ridiculous. Barricading a door like I'm some crazy person. Jam.
The shoe fits it, shoe fits.
Sure. Let's go to football. Okay. Shall we?
Yeah, let's
DeAndre Hopkins to the Titans. Is this guy done? What's going on with him? I'm starting to sell this guy. If I was going to sell somebody, I'd be selling this guy. This guy's a clown. I don't know what's going on with him, and I don't think he's going to win anything in Tennessee.
Well, who do you got throwing the ball? You got Tannehill again throwing the ball. I just don't know, man. He had all the talent in the world. When he played for the Texans, man, it was him and Will Fuller lining up on either side of the ball. Man, that was an electric duo. And I would say for a while there, he was the best receiver in football. I really do. But it's kind of crazy because Father Time catches up with everybody, man. And I'm not saying that he's done, but he's also had some issues. He missed some time due to suspension. It kind of got into it with the team, was on the outs. I don't know if going to a team where Ryan Tannehill's throwing you the ball is going to revitalize your career, man. I don't know. I really just don't see it happening. I think he's going to be serviceable. I think he'll probably score 6 to 8 touchdowns this year. I think he'll be solid. I just don't think he's going to still be a number 1 wideout. The other thing too with the Titans don't really have much on the wide receiver end of football. So if he went to a team like, say, the Cowboys, who had CeeDee Lamb as their number 1, and he could be like a number 2 guy and still be able to like maybe get special coverage, where he could get, the second, cornerback that he was lining up against, or a weaker guy or weaker safety. I think he could do better, but he's definitely going to be the number one guy in Tennessee right now. I just don't. I don't know if he's prepared to be a number one guy going up against some of the best corners in football. I don't know. I hope he is. I hope he still has some magic left, but
If
I
you're
think
running a fantasy team, what's the earliest round you see him in the draft where you would consider taking him?
like fourth.
Oh, the fourth round. That's not bad.
Yeah, but you got to think how many wide receiver ones are gone by the fourth round in a 12-man league.
That's fair. It just still seems a little. I don't know, man. I just think between you, like you just said, Ryan Tannehill throwing him the fucking ball, who I have zero faith in. He will always find a way to lose, and the fact that he's going to be the number one guy there. He's not at a wide receiver one anymore, but he's going to be getting treated as such by the defenses because he's going to be the best thing that they have going. So I just and his antics, and he gets hurt, and he seems like the kind of guy who's probably going to start gambling, and I'm out on this fucking guy, man. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of him.
I also hope he cuts his hair.
Oh,
he's
why?
got like one of those. He has those like long ass,
the
thick thick dreads that looks like he hasn't washed it in like half a decade. Maybe I should get rid of that. We're done with that.
I like the dreads. It's the only thing I do like about him. I think it's cool. If I could have dreads, I'd have them.
Yeah, I mean, if you could have dreads, I think you'd have dreads down to your ass. Imagine a Rastafari bohemian fucking ticket, just walking around with dreads.
There's a weird thing with white guys and dreads. I immediately have an opinion about them.
Why?
It's just trashy, right?
But a black guy can wear dreads, no problem.
Yeah, 100%. They look cool.
I mean,
I think white guys with dreads, it's a tough.
What about white guys with cornrows?
Also tough. This coming from the guy who bleached blonde his hair, and I look like Stan. I look like Eminem Stan.
I wish we had a picture that we could put up of Ticket with the beats. I might have a picture.
I could probably find one.
I might have one laying around somewhere.
Yeah, just stashed away. All right, let's move on here to we'll keep this one relatively short without Mikey V, and we're a little tired, and Mr. Anderson's gonna be working late. But right before we get to who's a problem, let's run one more question. Quick one. Phillip Rivers, 10th kid. Too many?
Oh, hell yes. I mean, what are we doing, man? Like, I mean, this guy's got enough kids he could fucking file his taxes and be his attorney and do all of his personal work. I mean, he's creating a little army there for himself. 10 kids? I mean, I'm sorry. At some point, Tick, you got to wrap it up, man. I don't know. 10? 10? How do you transport that many fucking kids? You want to go to a restaurant, you got to rent out a freaking Sprinter van.
Yeah. I mean, what if the family's going to dinner? If the family's going to Cracker Barrel, because that's all you can afford to feed 10 kids. What are they getting? Are they taking 2 cars? What are they doing? They're renting a short bus? What are they doing?
I really don't know, man. That's it. You don't realize how many people it is until you try to make a restaurant reservation for 10 people on a Saturday night. They're making restaurant reservations for 12.
For 12, exactly.
That is nuts.
Do you think you can give, if you had 10 kids, do you think you're giving every kid equal attention? Do you think that's even possible?
Oh, no.
Some of these kids are going to grow up without a father, essentially. They're not going to know him.
Now that he's retired, he could spend more time with his kids.
There's 10 of them. How are you going to spend time with all 10? It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible.
I did like him as a quarterback a lot, man. I really did. I thought he was tenacious. I thought he had a flair. I thought he was, I don't know, man. I liked him a lot.
he was yeah, I liked him too. He had an edge, he had a fire to him that was mildly irritating, but sometimes pretty fascinating. But he was another one of those guys who like he was like a regular season hero. And he always found a way to lose in the playoffs. He always found a way to lose.
Him with
And
LT was special, man.
special time. That was a special time. I agree. That was electric. All right, let's move on to who's a problem. Joey D, you fire away first. Who's a problem this week, Joe?
The New York Giants coaching staff and general manager and just everybody making decisions there. They're a big time fucking problem, man. The fact that Daniel Jones got paid and now they're trying to skimp and save and scam out on our guy, Saquon Barkley, who for all intents and purposes basically won them multiple games last year, to me is absolutely preposterous and just goes to show that the NFL has become such a quarterback-driven league now that teams are ready to pay a guy who really isn't that good over paying a superstar running back. And I got to be honest, it's not right. It's not fucking right because it's not just the fact that Saquon's like a guy that we like and he's on our camp and we love Cuz and it's the fact that the guy's a gamer, man. I watched him single-handedly beat my Packers last year in that game at Wembley Stadium in England. He was unbelievable. He was electric when he touched the ball. I get it. In the past, he's had some injuries, some he's had some bad luck with some injuries and whatnot, but dude, he was so good last year. He looks stronger and better than ever this year. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. And I just don't understand it, man. I just don't get, I get it. It's a lot of money and like teams are learning to save on the running back end, but what do you got to do as a player? You put out a great performance week in, week out. You do your job, and then you get told that you're not worth the money that you're asking for. Meanwhile, a substandard quarterback is getting paid top tier money. Now he's not getting paid Mahomes money, but still, I mean, it's got to stink if you're Saquon right now. And I just really hope that things pan out and work out the way that they hopefully, I just hope that everything turns out okay because, he's a great guy and I want to see him play for the Giants and be successful and to continue to do what he's doing. But it's a tough scene to watch.
Yeah, I can see both sides. I mean, like you mentioned, teams are seeing that paying running backs a shitload of money is just not working out too well these days, unless you got a Christian McCaffrey on your hands, unless you got a Derrick Henry, some of those guys, Nick Chubb. But man, and Saquon's had his injury problems, I get all that, but man, like he came back, like you mentioned again, he came back as a stud this season. He looked like
so
the
good.
Saquon of old, and it's like that he might fall into that one of those categories like Chubb and Henry and in that just upper echelon guys that you just fucking pay him, especially if you're going to pay Daniel Jones, who is it's ridiculous. How could Saquon walk into the locker room knowing that this mediocre quarterback is making 10x what
100%. And look at a guy like Ryan Tannehill. How did that work out for the Titans? Or how did like some of these guys who've been paid, top tier money, well, maybe not top tier money, but high tier money. And they're not Jared Goff's another. I mean, there's a few that we could list. And it's just like, how is that working out? Jimmy G. Some of these guys, it's like, it's like, I get it that it's a quarterback driven league, but teams are trying to force guys to be quarterbacks and players that they're not. And it's just not right when you see you look at that team, they had no wide receiver last year. Saquon was catching balls out of the backfield. He was doing everything he could. Guy played a hell of a season, and he can't get paid. It sucks. And I tell you what, the Giants have got to figure it out soon, because if Saquon opts to sit out, it is going to be a massive blow to that team this year. A massive fucking blow.
Saquon, yeah, I agree. Yes, you're right. But Saquon looks to me like the kind of guy who's like more likely going to be like, all right, fuck them. I'll show them how good they are. I'll fucking go out and play like a rock star this year again, and then I'll leave. I'll go to the Eagles, hopefully, or the Cowboys. I'll go to someone
But did you
in
hear what he
their
said?
division. I don't think he will, though. You think he might sit out? I think he's bluffing.
Knowing him, I think he's just I think he's threatening it, and I don't think he'd actually do it, but
I don't think he will either.
I'm saying if he does, that's going to be a tough position for them to come out of.
I don't even know who their backup is. Who was the guy who played when he was hurt? I don't know. That's the point. That's the fucking point. Is no one fucking knows who the backup was, and just pay him. Just pay him. Just give him something. Give him something to hang his hat on, because he's a great running back, man. Some of the best thighs in the game. Some of the best thighs.
I think it's Matt Breida.
Yeah, Matt. He doesn't suck. He's not a bad.
He's pretty solid, but he's not. Yeah, he's not. Saquon Barkley is one of the top. When he's healthy, he's one of the top running backs in the league, without a doubt.
I had him in his rookie season on my fantasy team. I love drafting rookie running backs that no one else knows about, and he won me my league single-handedly.
Really?
Single-handedly. I mean, not single-handedly, but he was the anchor. He was the guy. All right, great. Whose problem? I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna veer off sports again. It's just so slow. There's not much going on. I will get back to it when things pick up again. But I've got a real problem with Airbnb, man. I've got a real problem with the way they run their reviews. They've got to do some vetting, man. They've got to make sure these owners aren't fucking just posting good comments for themselves. This is outrageous. I mean, just saying shit that's not true.
They can't delete the comments.
Yeah, but they gotta be. You're telling me that my phone can listen to me and start telling me like what I want to hear? I mention a bike. Next thing I know, I'm on Instagram and Schwinn is offering me bike deals. No, our phones they know how to look these people up and see if the owner is making fake comments. And I think it's happening left and right, because we've gotten banged on numerous Airbnbs because the comments are quote unquote good. The comments are excellent, 5 stars, would stay again. No, you wouldn't, because I've been here. I'm barricading my goddamn door because there's a 2-way mirror in this fucking place.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I actually don't think it's that bad of an Airbnb. I'm comfortable every night. I'm sleeping like a newborn babe. I got AC. I got a fan going off. Yeah, maybe there's some guy walking through the hallways at night, creeping and looking at me. I guarantee you he's not going to like what he sees. I got nothing to worry about. Nothing's going to happen to me, dog. I'm comfortable. We got tons of space. This is the most space we've had in fucking maybe ever in an Airbnb.
Yeah, there's space, but it comes with the smell.
My room don't smell, dog. My room smells fine. It's being aired out as we speak with this beautiful fan, AC in here. I'm right next to the door. Hell, there's a window right here. If somebody did come, I could just jump through the window. I'd be in the front lawn. I'd run out for the hills.
You're a sick fuck, man. You really have problems. You have issues, dude. Because
this shit don't bother me. You guys talking about floor plans and stuff.
You could sleep through a hurricane, first of all. Let's just start there. Because you saying you're sleeping like a newborn babe is just ridiculous, because you could sleep in the middle of a war. You could be in the middle of a war zone. If you went to war back when there was wars going on and you were living in a bunker, you'd have no problem. You'd have zero issue falling asleep.
I mean, when it's time to sleep, it's time to sleep, dog. I fell asleep sitting up inside the Sprinter van today. Did you see that?
Yeah, and I've seen it a million times before. You love getting into a car and falling asleep almost immediately. We'll be blasting music, we'll be talking, we'll be doing all these things, and you're just fucking zonked out with your mouth open. And it's a beautiful trait. I wish I had it. I can't. I need like an hour to fall asleep. But yeah, I'm still on Airbnb, and these liars on here putting up fucking houses and apartments and spaces. Sometimes they'll say 7 rooms. Well, you know what? There's 4 rooms. There's 4 bedrooms. And you know what? It stinks like shit in here. Okay. I'm barricading my goddamn door so I don't get stabbed at night. Okay. Okay. That's my problem. Airbnb, get it together, or I'm going to Verbo. Let's move on to viewer questions, and then we'll get the hell out of here. First one's coming in from Hilton. Big fan of the pod and everything you boys have going on. Do you guys have any college football dark horses to make the playoffs this year? Keep it up, fellas. This would be a great question if Mikey V was here. He's the college football guru, but we'll give it a shot. Joey D?
I have if you bear with me, I actually have several future bets on college football teams to win the
Lovely.
national championship.
Give us the odds too when you're running through that.
All right, I'll tell you who I got. I got so football. What was the question? Playoffs or championship?
Dark horse to make the playoffs. I think they mean that for the 14 playoffs. Dark horses, though.
I don't have that, but I'll just give you a couple teams that I took. Actually, I'll give you one. NCAA football championship. I took Florida State at plus 1,800. The Seminoles, $250 to make $4,500. All right.
Yeah, you like the Seminoles?
I also took Ohio State, but Ohio State ain't no dark horse, man. But yeah, give me Florida State, man. Florida State, the Seminoles this year. By the way, that was never my initial pick. That was my guy's pick. So I'm all in on my guy. You know, my guy's been hot.
My guy crushing baseball.
He's been scorching hot. So why not trust the hot hand? Give him the rock. Let him roll.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to go with. It's hard to call them a dark horse. They're a Big Ten team, but and they're an infamous school, but they haven't had the greatest success in the last 10, 15 years. I mean, mild, but nothing exceptional.
Wisconsin?
I was gonna maybe say Wisconsin, but no, I think Penn State. I think Penn State is going to be exceptional the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, Mikey of several episodes touched on a really great point that they got this quarterback who's fucking unbelievable. I mean, Penn State's in line to have some really, really good years as long as they don't fuck it up, but they often do. But I really like Penn State to not step on their own toes, to maybe get over Ohio State finally for once in their goddamn lives, get over Michigan and have a damn good season and make something happen and make a run at these playoffs. But that being said, what you mentioned too, I like Wisconsin as well. I think Wisconsin's going to have a good. I think the Big Ten's back. I think the Big Ten is. I think Iowa's good.
You think Michigan's going to be good again?
I think they're trending down, but I think they'll still be very good. But they're not trending in the right direction, and that's music to Mikey's ears.
Have you been to a whiteout yet?
I've been to a whiteout. I used to go to Penn State games. I would go to all the home games. We had this huge RV. And we would ride out to Happy Valley from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, where I live, right outside of Philadelphia. And we would watch all the games. And once a year, they had the whiteout games. It's nuts. It's really? We've got to make it to one of those. One of these days, we've got to go to a Penn State. We'll get Mikey. We'll get all the guys. And we'll do an Ohio State, Penn State whiteout game.
It looks crazy.
It is crazy. Have you ever been to a college football game in general?
Not a big time game. I actually went to the national championship this year, the Natty title, but that's different because it was at SoFi Stadium and it was a neutral site. I've never been to like a big time game. I think, I've never been to a big time game. Like
you got to go to the school and like be around their fans.
Yeah, I've not done that.
Oh man. There's a ton. We don't even have to go to a whiteout game. We should just go to like these guys. They fucking love Ole Miss. That would be fucking nuts. You go to a Michigan game.
I'd like to go to a USC game.
USC, yeah, that's nuts too.
By the way, they're going to be fucking good this year.
You know what would be the great? Yes, they are. I agree. You know what it looks like maybe not the craziest, but looks fucking nuts that I would love to go to.
Ole Miss, Oxford.
Yeah, Ole Miss for sure. But your team, Florida State, the Seminoles, they start doing the chop at halftime. There's always someone who leads a bunch of fucking men out, and they got
They
like
have
a
like that
gigantic
flaming
spear.
fucking spear. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be a
Oh,
oh
oh.
yeah. I'd like to be a part of that. I'd like to be a part of that for once in my life, part of a community. Um, all right, great question, Hilton. Next question comes from Quinn. Which teams are going to be the biggest surprise, both overachieving and underachieving for the upcoming NFL season?
Overachieving and underachieving. Oh boy. I think the Jets are gonna. I think the Jets are gonna be legit, man. And listen, I might be drinking the Kool-Aid like everyone else, and they might flop. I really think that this team is set up for success. I think with their defense, Aaron Rodgers comes in with the savviness that he has, the veteran touch, and just a slew of good receivers. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I think they could maybe even win the division. Give me the Jets to overachieve. Another team too, same division, the Miami Dolphins. This team secretly is getting slept on, and I think they're really fucking good, man. I think they're going to be another playoff team. That division, the AFC East, to me, is the best division in football right now. Between them, the Bills, the Jets, and I mean, the Patriots are going to be the weakest team in that division. They're not even that bad. I think that division is going to be awesome. I think the Detroit Lions are going to underachieve. And here's the reason why. I like the Detroit Lions a lot, and I love what their coach is doing over there. He's Motor City Dan is just a one of one. I love him. But I think like the transition of them from last year, just like winning games and like being, a more than 500 team. I think the expectations of them this year have far exceeded what their actual talent level is. I still think that they could be a pretty solid team. Don't get me wrong. I think they could win, 8 to 10 games, but I don't think they're going to win the division. Like people are anticipating them to come out as the NFC North winner, and I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the Vikings are still the top tier team in that division this year. And yeah, it's not a knock to the Lions. I think that they'll still be okay, but I just think they're getting a little bit more credit than they actually deserve. They didn't really make a ton of offseason moves that I was really impressed with. And at the end of the day, they still have Jared Goff. I don't know. Losing DeAndre Swift was big. I think they're a good team. I think that they're going to underachieve, to answer that question.
And not to mention, they just lost a buttload of guys, including a really great receiver, to fucking gambling violations. So
tough scene.
That's man. A bit of a bang job too for Detroit. Underachieving, I think it's going to be the 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to severely underachieve. I don't know what's going on at quarterback. I know they've got a really talented wide receiver / running back who seems to be getting injured a lot. And I just think, losing their coach to Miami this past year had an effect on them. And I think it's going to further have an effect on them moving forward as the team seems to sort of both be getting older and having quarterback identity problems. And the overachiever, wish Mikey was here for it. I'm going the Bears. I'm all in on what the Bears are doing.
Really?
I know why Mikey's skeptical. I know why he's doing the same thing. We all
he always does it.
Maybe not what you Packers fans do because you've only known success, but what the rest of us all do, what Bob's doing with the Jets, what I usually do with the Eagles. You don't want to get too excited, even though things are heading in the right direction. But I'm not a Bears fan, so I can see it a little more clearly. I love everything they're doing. I think, and to your point, Detroit, I don't think is going to be as good as everyone thinks they're going to be. Minnesota's heading in the wrong direction, and your Packers are trying to rebuild. So this is also a perfect opportunity for the Bears to strike. And I just love the way Justin Fields is developing. I think he's getting better every year. Sure, they need a little offensive line help still, But I think they're going to figure that out and overcome it. And man, their offense got way better. Their defense got way better. I like the Bears to overachieve, especially for what people think they're going to achieve this year. So that's what I got.
You know who else I think's going to be good
go
this
for it.
year?
Who?
And it pains me to say this because I've been down on this team for a long time. And you've always, well, not always, but the last couple of years, especially after they acquired their quarterback, you've backed this team up more than anyone I could imagine.
Oh, wow.
You know who I'm thinking?
Yeah, think of the Jags.
I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be a good team this year. I hate to say it, man. I actually think they're going to be good this year. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a very serviceable upper.
Oh, fuck off. Serviceable. This guy's a star.
Saying upper tier quarterback. I don't think he's in the elite category yet. I think he's close. He's in that next category down. But he's trending upwards. I like what their coach is doing, man. I know you've had experience with him. I think that team has potential to do some things this year and listen, they're a playoff team last year. I think they're going to be really good again this year. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be an overachiever.
Love that pick. Love them. Absolutely love them. They will be in London at some point. There will be the London Jaguars. But for now, they're still in Jacksonville. Good question, Quinn. And let's run this. I like this next question, but I like it. I want Mikey V to be here for this next one. So let's save that one from Ethan, Mr. Anderson, for next week. I think that's an episode, Joey D. You tell me. Do you think that's an episode?
I mean, I don't know if it's definitely not our best. We got you look like Eric Snowden over there, you know. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're bunkered in there. I got moonbeam lights coming down. It's not our best stuff, but I do think, you know what, deserve a little pat on the back for fighting through. We had a long day today. We hunkered down. We got an episode out, and you know what? Sportsmen live another day, baby.
It would be easier if there was more to talk about. I mean, we're talking about Phillip Rivers and his 10th fucking kid. I mean, there's just not a lot going on right now. It's baseball, and it's let's get to the football shit. You know,
football's coming, man. It's just around the corner. It's not
there's
that far away.
No hockey. There's no, and I'm sick of bitching about it, but there's just not much, and I'm sick of it. And no one here wants to talk about F1. I'm the only one, so there's no talking about that with you people. But anyway, that's another episode of The Sportsman. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. That's how you're going to get your questions involved. Fire them up to the Instagram. Mr. Anderson's going to cycle through those, and he's going to pick them, and we're going to see them, and we're going to answer them. Okay? Make sure you do that. Like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube. And that's Joey D up there. I'm the big ticket. Next week, Mikey V is going to be here with us. But this week, that's another edition of The Sportsman. Till next time.